Hello you guys, and welcome to today's video. If I'm being completely honest, I am so nervous for this video. It's something that I've been wanting to film ever since I started my YouTube channel, which has been 2 years now. I feel like I've just always been putting this video off. I always tell myself, oh, I'll just do another day, I'll do another time. It's not the time to do that right now. But I feel like recently, the Lord has really been telling me, like, you need to film this video and post it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just pray that this video will be a blessing to some of you. I pray that it may be encouraging and that you can get something out of this video. And I just pray that God speaks to me through this video, because I just need him right now, honestly, to speak through me. But anyways, I'm gonna get started because I know for a fact this video is gonna be so long, so just bear with me. I hope that you stick through the end of this video, because I think it definitely will be encouraging to you. And I think that if you clicked on this video, I think God will definitely tell you something today. So anyways, I'm gonna start off from the very beginning. I was born into a Christian family. My dad, my mom, they were both really good Christians. We went to church. You know, I went to Sunday school. I did all the things that, you know, normal Christian families do. One thing I really loved about my parents was that how they were in church, that's exactly how they were in the home. They always practiced, you know, praying. They always read the Bible. I always saw them being very involved in church and stuff. So I was like in a really good family. But just because I was born into a Christian family did not mean that I had that personal relationship with the Lord, because I think those are two completely different things. It's very different if you are just following along your parents and like being Christian and all that, and then there's a whole different thing when you encounter the Lord personally and have a personal relationship with the Lord. So I did not have that yet. I didn't have like that personal relationship with God yet, but I was just like going to church. I knew about the Lord. When I was around 7, I think I was 7, I could be wrong, but when I was 7, my dad became a pastor. So things changed a lot. I feel like things are very different when your dad becomes a pastor. I just feel like almost the enemy is very close to ones that are in ministry and like their kids. And so I feel like a lot of people look up to you, like, oh, that's pastor's daughter, you know, like things like that. Like there's a lot of things that my parents would be like, no, you can't do that because dad is in ministry, you know what I mean? So during this whole time, I went to a private Christian school. So I was in church, I was around Christian people, I was in school, I was around Christian people. I was always around people that were Christian. I was almost never around people that were not Christian or worldly or anything like that. I mean, you can imagine, like, I go to church on Sunday, everyone's Christian. I go to school Monday through Friday, everyone's Christian there. Like, I went to a really nice Christian school, so I was almost like guarded from the world, and I like didn't even like see the world. So, you know, I was always just like around Christian people. And then when I was around 11, I went to a church kids camp, and I feel like that is when I had my very first encounter with the Lord, like personally. On the last night of the kids camp, we had like this prayer and people were praying for me, and I don't know, I just felt like the presence of God for the very first time. I felt so much joy and happiness, and like I literally felt like I was on cloud 9. Like, it was just amazing. And then I'm not sure if this was before or after. I think this might have been actually before. My dad, as I mentioned, he was a pastor, and he was also doing a lot of mission work. And he went to India and he got sick with malaria, and it was very, very bad. He was in a coma, I think, for like 40 days or something like that. I could be wrong. I'm not really good with the details because I was so young. But my dad was sick. He was in the hospital. Like, it was bad. Doctors were literally telling my mom to prepare for the funeral and stuff like that. Like, they literally thought he would have no chance of even surviving because he was just so sick. Anyways, my dad was just like dying. And one night I always get really emotional. But anyways, one night when we went to the hospital to see him, they didn't allow me to go into the room where he was laying because he literally had like tubes all over, and it was just bad. And like, they didn't want me being so young to see him. But he had like a window in his room, and I saw my dad through the window, and I just like couldn't believe my eyes. And that night we came home, whatever, and I had a dream that I opened my Bible and it says, "Your dad will be healed." And I woke up and I was like super confused. I mean, I wasn't confused, I was just like, wow, like, I mean, it must happen because, you know, obviously I'm reading it out of the Bible, you know. I go downstairs, you know, my mom's like preparing my lunch for school and stuff like that. I told my mom the dream that I had. She's like, you know what, Vita, if that actually happens, then you can testify to people if that actually happens. Anyways, time passes by. I'm super sorry. The lighting keeps changing. Like, the sun keeps going up and down, so if the lighting is weird, I'm sorry. But anyways, time passes by and God truly healed my dad, like, completely. He literally has no issues at all to this day. He's like the most healthy person ever. Anytime he goes to like doctor checkups, they're like, "You're so healthy," and stuff like that. When before doctors were saying like, "You'll be on dialysis your whole life," and stuff like that. So honestly, it was like truly a miracle. So my dream came to life, and I feel like also after that I was like, wow, God is true, he's real, like he exists, you know. I mean, I knew that my whole life, but when it actually like happens in your life, I feel like you believe it even more. But anyways, time passes by, and when I was 15, I go to a Bible school. It's like a teen Bible school, and it was such a good time because it really like got me to grow in God, because we had like classes, like Bible classes, we had prayers, you know. It was just like such a good time. And if you guys are a teen and you're watching this video somehow, I so encourage you to go. They should have a teen school coming up in the summer of 2023. So if you guys have a chance, I totally encourage you to go, and it will definitely help you to like get to know the Lord more and grow in him. But anyways, I go to this teen school, and obviously I grew in God. Like, I was reading my Bible because they make you like, they have like a Bible reading plan for you throughout the school. It was just like a really awesome time that I grew in God. After that, I just kind of went on with my life. Like, I went back to school, you know, back to church, whatever, you know. I felt like my life was always kind of like a roller coaster. Like, there was like moments where I'd be like super close to God, and then there was moments where I just like kind of like live my life. I like didn't do bad things, but like I like wasn't fully, you know, dedicated to like reading the Bible and like spending time with the Lord. Fast forward, I finished school at my private Christian school, and after 10th grade I went into this program where you can like finish the last 2 years of high school and finish your associates in like 2 years or whatever in college. So that's what I decided to do. So I left my private school and I ended up going to college. And as I mentioned earlier, I felt like I was so guarded. I was always around Christian people, and so when I went to college, it was like a whole different world for me. Like, definitely no Christianity going on. There were just unchristian people, parties, you know, just any other college. Like, if you've been to college or even like a high school, just a regular high school, I think you know what I'm talking about. But when you've never seen that or been around those kind of people, I felt like I almost had like a shock. Like, I was like, whoa, this is what the world is. Anyway, so I started like going to college, you know, I was going to my classes. Like, this did not happen like overnight. It just like slowly, it started to like get to me, I feel like. I started getting into the wrong crowd. I started to hang out with people that I really shouldn't have been hanging out with. I remember sitting in a math class or something, and this girl, it was like her birthday or something, and she was literally inviting me to a party, like a straight up party. And I was like, whoa, like this. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, thank you. But I was so shocked. People were like inviting me to these places and stuff like that, and I was just like, wow, like this is really what the world is. But anyway, I can't say that I like did horrible things. I didn't. I did not like, I never drank or like did any of that stuff, but I just felt like slowly I was just like stepping away from the Lord, like completely. I started getting into relationships that also wasn't like the best thing ever. So I was also like in a relationship, and I was just like not in a good relationship. I hid everything from my parents. All of this was like so hidden from my parents. I did not want my parents knowing about all of this. I didn't want my parents knowing about this boyfriend that I had and everything. So, you know, life just goes on. I kept going to this college. I kept, you know, hanging out with these people and stuff. And then it came to a point where my parents started to realize like something is going on with Vita. Like something's not right. My parents ended up finding out about my relationship with this guy, and they were like, you gotta stop hanging out with him, stop talking to him, everything. They were so against it. And when you know that your parents are against something, it's just like not a blessing for sure. And the thing is that like when I was in this relationship with this guy, like deep inside, I knew that I was just not gonna end up with this guy. Like deep inside, I knew like he was not the one. I'm hiding this from my parents. This is not from the Lord for sure. Like I just knew that I wasn't gonna end up with him, but I just wanted to have someone, I guess. Literally. You know, my parents found out and they were like, you gotta stop hanging out with him, you gotta stop this. And so I did for maybe like a week. And then I just like went back to it, like kept hanging out with him. I kept talking to him. And the thing is like when I would hang out with him, I would lie to my parents, you know, like and stuff. I'm not gonna get like into like all the little details, but I feel like you guys get the point. Honestly, I wasn't doing anything horrible. I never like I said, I was never like going to parties and drinking or smoking or whatever. Like I didn't do anything horrible, but it wasn't like pleasing to the Lord, obviously, because I wasn't even obeying my parents and I was literally going behind my parents' back. I guess time passes and my parents find out again that I'm talking to this guy again, and honestly they were so furious with me. My parents were just so against all of this, and I feel like they also knew that I just like wasn't doing the best spiritually. Like I just was falling. I just wasn't with the right crowd. I was hanging out with this guy that they don't even know, they didn't even bless me with, and and I was just like in the lowest point of life ever. I was just not doing good, basically. And so I ended up, I don't remember if my parents took my phone away or not. Honestly, I can't really remember, but I just remember like going into my room and I was just all alone, and I was just thinking to myself, what am I doing? What happened? You know, like, I do not want to live the rest of my life like this. I truly missed those times when I was like so close to the Lord, and you know, when I was like 11 and I had that encounter with the Lord and stuff like that. Like, I was like, what happened, you know, to me? I think this was like the end of 2015, so I was like 17 at this time, and I was just in my room and I was like, I do not want to live the rest of my life like this. Like, I really need to do something. I cannot live like this anymore. I'm so sick of living like this. I miss being so happy and joyful. Like, what is going on, you know? And then I realized that there was a missionary school that was gonna happen in the next couple months in January. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I wanna go to this missionary school. It was basically the same school that I went to with the teens, but this was like for the adults. So it was like I think like a 4-month program or something like that. And so I go to my parents and I'm like, if my parents let me go, like, I'm literally going. So I go to my parents and I tell them, you know what, I think I want to go to missionary school. Like, I want to go in January. And my parents were so for it. They were like, you go to missionary school, like, we're totally for you going. I was super excited about it. I actually dropped out of like my high school associates program thing, and I ended up finishing high school online. And in January of 2016, I ended up going to missionary school. And you guys, I can't say like this missionary school changed my life, because obviously the Lord is the only one that did, but it truly helped me to get close to the Lord. And it was honestly just the best decision I have ever made. I mean, one of the best decisions I have ever made, because that school literally just like helped me so much. So I started this missionary school, and 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and it was great. They have morning prayers every morning, then they have like the school. And I think one of the weekends, like I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks after the school started, we go to Prayer Mountain. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's basically like this mountain, and this old guy lives there, and they call it the Prayer Mountain. And so you like hike up to this like mountain, and it's like really cool because like you get to like pray on there and stuff like that. And so I hike up to this prayer mountain, and honestly, I was just so hurt from everything, from all the relationships that I was in, and just everything that was going on for like the past year or two. I had so much hurt inside, and I was just hurting, and I was just not doing the best, you know? And so I was on this mountain and I was praying. After we prayed on the mountain, we had to go down because we had like a service that was gonna start. They have like this building there, I think it's like a little church, and we were about to start like a little prayer service thing. And so we started praying in this church, and you guys, I was literally just so like not there. Like, I was just hurting. I was crying to God. I was like, God, I need you to just like heal me from this hurt. Like, I'm just in pain. Like, I literally was just like crying to the Lord. And then I just felt like the Lord saying to me, like, just open your Bible right now. Like, just open your Bible. So I opened my Bible, and I opened to Isaiah 66:13, which I'll read it to you guys. So I opened to Isaiah 66:13, and it says, I will comfort you there in Jerusalem as a mother comforts her child. So when I opened that up, I just immediately started bawling. God was right there comforting me, just as a mother would to a child. After that, I had that encounter with the Lord again, and it was just like the greatest thing I've ever experienced. Like, I just felt so renewed, and I just started repenting. I started asking God to forgive my sins, everything that I've been doing and lying to my parents, and you know, all this stuff that I was doing. And I felt like just the Lord right there comforting me and being there with me. After that, I felt like the Lord really was changing me. He started changing me, and it wasn't like overnight, you know, it was one thing at a time. You know, I always asked God, please change me like into the person you want me to be. I want to be more like you, you know. And so God really did start changing me one step at a time at this Bible school. Then during this Bible school, they give you the opportunity to go on a missionary trip somewhere. So they had like this reveal night, and whatever country or state that they send you to, you basically go there. And the whole entire missionary school, the whole entire time, I really wanted to go to India. I was like, I'm going to India. I don't care. Like, literally everybody in the missionary school knew that I wanted to go to India. The reason why I really wanted to go there was because that was one of the first mission bases that opened, and that's like where my dad went, and that's where he got sick. And I don't know, I just like, I felt like a really deep connection there, so I really wanted to go there. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but this missionary school is connected to like the church that my dad was in. So yeah, just to clarify. Yeah, anyway, so we had like the reveal night, and I got revealed that I'm gonna go to India. And I was so excited. I was so happy. I don't know, I was like literally over the moon. My parents were a little bit nervous. My mom really was like, I kind of don't want you to go, but you know, if that's where you really want to go, then go, you know. A couple days later, after that reveal night, they take the group that we're supposed to go to India, and they tell us like, hey, there's like a few documents that are like going on right now in India, and just like right now is not the time where you guys can go there. And I was so discouraged. I was like, what? I thought God was like leading me to India because that's where I really want to go, and I was just like, where am I gonna go? Like, I don't want to sit here. Like, I don't want to be home. Like, I want to go somewhere, because especially after missionary school, you're just like so fired up and ready to just like go on a missionary trip somewhere. And I was just like, God, like, I really want to go to India, but like, where am I gonna go? Like, where are you gonna send me? Then this thought came to my mind during the reveal night when they announced the people that were gonna go to Ukraine. Nobody wanted to go. I don't know what it was about Ukraine, but literally everyone that was supposed to go to Ukraine, they were like, I don't want to go. This one girl literally was bawling. She did not want to go to Ukraine that bad. So I was like, God, if nobody wants to go to Ukraine, they're like crying over there, don't want to go, I guess I'll go to Ukraine. So anyways, at that time, one of my cousins was actually in charge of the Ukraine project. And so I was like, God, if he says that I am needed in Ukraine, then I'm just gonna go there. And I'm gonna know that that's where you're sending me. So I contacted my cousin, and I was like, hey, I'm in missionary school, and I was supposed to go to India, but those doors kind of closed, and when we were at the reveal night, nobody wants to go to Ukraine, and I was just wondering if I could just go to Ukraine instead. Do you guys need me there? Do you guys need help? Whatever. And so he was just like, yeah, of course, come to Ukraine. So instead of going to India, I go to Ukraine. I go to Ukraine, and you guys, I thought missionary school changed me. Boy, did Ukraine change me even more. I came to Ukraine, I was like this wild person, super loud, cracking jokes, you know, which there is nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is like, God humbled me so much. Like, God really started to deeply change me even more in Ukraine. And so when I was going to Ukraine, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be there until September. I went to Ukraine in June, and I said that I would be there till September. And so I think when it was like July or August, I was like, you know what? I just have a feeling I need to stay here. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go back home in September. So I ended up prolonging my ticket until December. Guys, Ukraine was like literally like the best memory I've ever had till this day. Like, honestly, I'm 25 now, and being in Ukraine for those 6 months was like seriously just like, I wish that I could relive those 6 months. It was so hard. It was really hard being there. You're not with your family, you're like across the country from home, but it was amazing that I got to serve the Lord. Like, I wasn't just like growing my relationship with the Lord, but I was actually doing something for him. And I felt like I was very involved with the children there at the village, and oh my gosh, like it was just the best thing ever. Like, God was like really changing me, really using me, and I've never felt so much joy. I've never been like so close to the Lord ever in my life there. So it was just like the best thing ever. And then that led to me like meeting Yuri, which is my husband, which I won't get into that because we already have that video. So if you guys haven't seen our love story, I'll link it. Definitely watch that, because that was like a whole nother testimony of like how me and him met and stuff like that. And sometimes we think that we have like all this planned out. Like, I thought I was gonna go to India, and like I thought that was God's plan for me and everything, but God was like, no, I have a whole different path and plan for you. And God completely changed my plans, and I trusted his plans, and that's where I ended up. I ended up in Ukraine. I received a husband from that, and it was just like, I don't know, I could not imagine it any other way. That's why we always need to just like trust God's path for us, because if I would have just been like, you know what, whatever, I don't care, I'm still going to India, honestly, I don't even know what would happen. And when I was actually engaged to Yuri, I think it was like a year later, I ended up going to India for like, I think it was like 2 weeks or something like that. It was a very short trip. I ended up going to India, and when I was there, I was like, Lord, I was like, now I know why you did not send me here, because I wouldn't have survived, you guys. India is such a hard country with the food and the people. Like, it was just like a really hard place for me to be in. And I understood then, I was like, I understand why God did not lead me there and led me to Ukraine instead. Anyways, I think that kind of concludes like my whole entire testimony and my story and stuff like that. It's really amazing how God started to change me, and I'm super thankful to the Lord to where he led me and what he's done in my life, because honestly, like, I don't know life without him. I truly do not know a life without the Lord, and I don't want a life without God. He's been literally the biggest blessing, and he blessed me with so much. From that to like, you know, getting married, and we couldn't get pregnant for a while, and he gave us a child, and it's just like never ending testimony after testimony. So yeah, I am so thankful to God, and I hope that this was an encouragement to you. I'm really happy that I was able to finally share my story, my testimony, and I really hope that it was an encouragement to at least one of you. And I love the Lord with like literally all my heart, and truly thankful for everything he's done in my life. And I hope that it can happen to you if you were in that state of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, I don't want to live like this anymore. Just go to the Lord, seriously, like you will not regret it. And also, I will have like the missionary school I went to linked down below, just in case that if you guys are watching this and you're interested in going or something like that. I'll have their information or whatever linked below, so you guys can check it out. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video. I know it's super long, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope it was encouraging and a blessing to you. Make sure to like this video, give it a comment, subscribe to my channel, and if you guys are interested in more faith-based videos and stuff like that, then definitely let me know. Maybe I can do more videos like this, something more encouraging and that could be more uplifting and stuff like that. So yeah, I love you guys all, and so does the Lord. You are so loved by him and he loves you no matter what. Anyways, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.